The moon hung low in the ink-black sky as Emily drove along the desolate stretch of highway. The only company she had was the haunting hum of her engine and the occasional rustling of leaves in the wind. She had always enjoyed the solitude of night drives, finding comfort in the isolation that the darkness brought. As Emily's headlights cut through the darkness, shadows danced along the edges of her vision, creating an eerie and shifting landscape. Her heart raced a bit faster than usual, but she dismissed it as a result of her imagination running wild. She turned up the radio, hoping the music would drown out her irrational unease. Miles passed by and the road seemed endless. Suddenly, the radio crackled and died, leaving Emily in complete silence. A chill ran down her spine and her grip on the steering wheel tightened. She glanced at her rearview mirror and caught a fleeting glimpse of something or someone in the back seat.
Her pulse quickened as she turned her attention back to the road, but something felt off. The familiar landmarks she expected to pass were nowhere in sight. Panic clawed at her chest as she realized she was lost on a road she had traveled countless times before. A dim glow appeared in the distance, giving her a glimmer of hope. She approached what seemed to be an old gas station, the ancient pumps and flickering lights casting eerie shadows. Relieved, Emily parked her car and got out, her footsteps echoing in the quiet night. The air was thick with an unsettling tension as she entered the dimly lit store. A bell above the door jingled, and the old cashier looked up from behind the counter, his face obscured by shadows. "Lost, are ya?" he mumbled in a raspy voice.
Emily nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. "Can you help me find my way back to the highway?" The cashier smiled, revealing teeth that were unnaturally sharp. "I can help you, but there's a price to pay." Unease prickled at Emily's skin, but desperation outweighed her fear. "What do you want?" The cashier slipped a dusty map across the counter. "Take this, it'll lead you home. But remember, once you use it, you can never come back." Emily hesitated, her fingers trembling as she reached for the maps. As her hand made contact, a surge of darkness coursed through her veins, and a vision flashed before her eyes. Endless roads twisting into oblivion, trapped souls wandering aimlessly.
With a shudder, she looked back at the cashier, who was now grinning wickedly. The realization hit her like a hammer. She was trapped in a nightmare of her own making. The map was a curse, a one-way ticket to a nightmarish realm. Desperation turned to determination. She turned and ran out of the store, her heart pounding as she sprinted back to her car. The engine roared to life and she floored the gas pedal, tearing away from the gas station as fast as she could. But the world around her began to warp and twist, the road stretching impossibly ahead. Panic surged within her as she realized the map's curse was taking hold. She slammed on the brakes, skidding to a halt. As Emily stared into the void before her, she made a choice. She tore the map to shreds and flung the pieces into the wind, watching them dissolve like ashes. The world around her snapped back to reality, and the road ahead was clear.
Breathing heavily, Emily turned her car around and sped back the way she came. Hours later, she finally found herself on the familiar highway, surrounded by the safety of civilization. She knew she had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death, one that would have left her wandering the endless roads of the cursed map, forever lost in the darkness.